following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Heckma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
Yeah, come on in here. Come on in here. It is the Players Lounge. Good morning, Cowboy Nation, and welcome to the Players Lounge live from the Star in Frisco, the Taj Mahal of football, and that's what they call it. Of your Dallas Cowboys. You are now rocking with the best. I am Heckma Harrison, the truth, and at the desk per normal are the players. My man, Barry Church in the building. Demontre Moore is in the building. Newy is around here. He's watching the show. He watching the show. He was here yesterday. They took him out. The media match was so good.
It took him out. Huh?
It took him out.
They said LeBron got to rest time.
Took him out. Huh?
LeBron got to take his breaks. Hey, men watching, managing.
Look, guys, this is your first time with me hosting the show, so you got to understand when I host the show.
Okay.
When I get, because it'll happen here and there, I'll get an opportunity to host the show, and we live when I do my thing. But I will tell you this before we get into any of the particulars on the coaching hire. I know y'all want to talk about it. I know y'all been venting for a few days. Now the mic's alive. We don't have to sit. You don't have to get that paragraph and a half from Demontre.
Wow. The fact that I sent a paragraph and a half and nobody responded. I get a single word text message. I'm like, man, it's I'm the new guy.
He ready. He got a lot he got to get off his chest.
He
ready. But before we get started, what I always do, man, I check in with my brothers. I check in on your mentals, see how you doing, how you feeling. And so this your first time, man. I'm going to start with you, brother. How are you?
Man, if we keeping it a buck, man.
Yes, we are.
It's been tough for me.
Okay.
It's been tough for me. Just mentally, just battling through the things that I got off the field. Letting go of the game that I love that was so recent. It's a fresh.
Ain't that something?
So, being here on the Players Lounge, it helps. But like I said, I'd be remiss if I say, hey, I don't have bad days. But guess what? Those bad days turn into good days. So
yes,
I gotta enjoy those. So I'm good right now, baby.
Yes, sir.
With the
facts. And that's, hey, man, you in a good place with good brothers. And so that's why we make sure we start like that to find out what's going on. And any time that you have anything like that, brother, me and you are new to each other. But my line is always open. Hit my line. If it's just, hey, man, I need to get to the show. Let's get a beer or something. I mean, we can do that.
Don't let me send a paragraph and you only send me one word, though, coming back now.
But see, that's a different story. Okay.
But we good.
We're good.
Talk about that,
huh? I'm doing 100. BC, let me start with you.
Oh, man, things are good. Things are good, man. It's a little cold, so your mans can't get out there and swing the clubs like I usually do. But
still waiting on that.
Other than that, you go.
What?
Oh, I ain't know that. Oh, see, now, opened up. See, we good. We opened up a whole nother thing.
What
now,
they say?
man.
Safe place,
man. I got my golfing partner now. We good. Everything else been good, man. Family's good, people healthy, so can't complain too much. Hey? It's been all good, man. How about yourself?
I'm gonna keep it 100 since we in the business of keeping it 100. I started this year. And I said, for my son, y'all know my son going into his senior year, and I'm doing everything to motivate this young man. I told myself, I said, Heckma, I know you are used to being in this gym with this boy telling him what to do, but you need to get down on these weights too. And so since the beginning of the year, dog, every morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to the gym with my son. Consistently.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Not working.
Let me doing this.
Hey, but let me be honest with y'all right now.
What's up, buddy?
Dog, I hurt so.
What's so ready?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Dog, listen, this is real talk. If somebody got down, I'm talking about like brought some drama my way, I just fold up on the ground like a doodle bug, bro.
I say you got it.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it.
We don't want no
Yeah, you got it.
We don't want no stats.
No,
You better stand tall like a tree.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
Help me.
Hey,
Bruh.
help the bear.
You have no idea the pain I feel. Now, I'm making noises walking downstairs. I'm making noises walking upstairs.
Not the
opening doors. I can't get in the car right.
Hey,
Bro,
pain is
I caught a
bliss.
cramp. I caught a cramp driving.
Ooh.
I'm driving, caught a cramp in my hamstring. I'm like,
Man.
help me, God.
The thing
Lord
you do
Jesus.
for your babies.
Man,
Yeah.
and you know what? And the
amazing.
thing is, though, as a dad, you got to be in there. And you got to act like it don't affect you. You gotta act like, man, I'm good.
Hey,
You gotta let them know.
45 on this. All right.
Hey, he go, baby, I should not have done that. My pride.
No,
hey.
but my wife, I got my support. So my wife is telling me, baby, stay in the game. You good?
You good, man.
But yeah, man, I'm glad to know that all of y'all are good. I'm good, man. And look, let's get this thing started.
Let's get it rolling.
It's been a week, and I think names have come up that I don't think either of us, nobody, we went around the table last Thursday, and we talked about names that we thought the Cowboys should interview. Some of those names are already off the list. Aaron Glenn, which was my pick, is gone. He's now the Jets head coach.
Shout out to that
Yeah,
Aggie.
man.
Hey, shout out to that Aggie. Gig him.
Yeah.
I wish you knew he was here, knew he. Aggie is.
Yeah, so he's the Jets head coach. Jets hire him without hiring a general manager first, but okay.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, but
That means he get his say though. I mean, it's open ground, or maybe he
that's a
don't.
spin. I like that.
It's a different spin.
It's a spin.
Losing organization. Losing thing. All right.
It's a spin.
Throw darts. Throw darts. Just
It's
throw
a
darts.
spin. We'll see if that sticks.
Yeah.
But the names that have come up and come around, you saw Robert Saleh, Leslie Frazier, all of those names, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Brian Schottenheimer's name.
Steamrolling, too. It's
Picking
up.
like a
not
freight
on-
train.
Yes, and the weird part about it for me is like when you let go of Mike McCarthy and you say this team needs overhaul, culture, all of those things, and Brian Schottenheimer's name comes up and he is a part of the previous regime. There's a conflicting idea in that for me.
It definitely is. Those were my sentiments when I started to hear the rumblings about it. But one, let me apologize because since we already talked about the chat, I did disrespect this man. I said, hey, like I'm not familiar, and I actually had the privilege of being on the same team as him when he was at Seattle.
Okay.
So to say that, I was like, okay, let me go, hit up some former players and stuff like that, and like the things that I'm hearing about him. Hey man, it sounds like they might have made the right decision. So
Okay, you got to elaborate. You can't
Yeah, you
leave
can't
it right there. You just can't
the
leave it right there.
breadcrumbs, man. Go ahead.
Hey man, what they say? You got to leave it one more.
Yeah.
But no, I lead to say that one, I apologize, but for people to say that he is a leader amongst men, anybody that was on that Coach Carroll staff, you couldn't just fake it. You had to exuberate energy from Ken Norton going at the offensive coordinator to everybody going back at each other. They had that competition factor, but you have to throw in that he was there when Russell Wilson had his best career. Then obviously he was here last year with Dak having an all-pro season. And for a lot of these guys, and one guy that I can put a name on, Richard Sherman, talked about his scheme. Schematic-wise, he's one of the best that's out there. For all the players that you hear nobody from Seattle saying anything negative about him and have great things to say in a locker room that has historically have had the brightest and the most strongest of personalities from their head coach to their players, and for him to stand on his own, man, that's high praises in my opinion. And so that's the main thing we said with coming to America's team. Can you find a leader amongst men? And right now, all I'm hearing is that he's a great guy. And then you got to remember who his dad is, the pedigree that he has.
Yeah.
So from the high praises, him being around ball since he was little, being raised, his dad is arguably, one of the tops in his profession. Man, the ceiling is bright for him. And some of the players even said they're surprised that he hasn't been a head coach already. So for players to say stuff like that, I'm excited to hear about it.
Brian Schottenheimer's father, Marty Schottenheimer, coach 21 years, only had 2 losing seasons as a head coach, and that is big time. BC, your thoughts on it?
Well, I like what you said, DeMondre. It was, because when you broke it down like that, coming from Seattle, that is huge because that team had big personalities. You said, from the Sherms of the world, the Bobby Wagners, the Earl Thomases, those guys, Beast Mode,
KJ
Baldwin,
his own
all
thing,
those
KJ,
dudes.
yes.
So you had big personalities on that team, and you need a guy that's can I won't say control, but can kind of get everybody on the same page, especially offensively when you had the Russ Cook phase and all that good stuff. So, Shotty, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know everything when it comes to this man, but I will say I was surprised when his name was brought up, and it's starting to gain momentum. It's like a snowball going downhill, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm interested to see what these players think about it. I'm talking about the Parsons of the world, the Dak Prescotts of the world, because those are the guys that are your leaders on the team. Those are the guys that voice really means the most when you talk about what coming from that locker room. So I want to see how those guys feel about it, especially Dak Prescott, because that's going to be basically his man's right there. Because for the past couple of years, Dak has been playing at a high level. The year before this, one before he got injured, second in MVP voting. Had one of his best seasons under Mike McCarthy. So are they going to bring that same system back, like McCarthy's system back with Schottenheimer, or is Schottenheimer going to put a whole different spin on it?
Yes.
I'm not too sure about that. We'll see what happens, but one thing's for certain. Whatever you do offensively on this team as the head coach, you better get 88 involved early enough.
Fact.
You got to find a way to make sure your playmakers are balling at a great clip. And that's what we need from this team. We can't have these slow starts. The past couple years, that's exactly what's happened. This team has been loaded as a, talent-wise, not really much this year, but in previous years, been loaded, but they start out slow.
Yeah.
They start out slow, and that's exactly what hurt them in that Green Bay playoff game. So, to me, I'm interested to see what these players bring to the table when they talk about Shotty, but I'm surprised overall that this is the name that has been brought up and getting a lot of steam, especially when you had guys like Aaron Glenn out there, Ben Johnson, who didn't even get calls, from this organization. So we'll see.
That's where things start to get weird.
Mm-hmm.
When you say Aaron Glenn didn't even receive a telephone call, but still, there's nothing is official yet, and probably won't be official until all the podcasts are done.
And then you'll get that break.
Breaking news.
It'd be like, dang, I can't wait till.
Why didn't y'all do that while we was on the show? But what you about to say, Montre?
My question is, or I guess it's not really a question, so we don't get too stuck on it. But when you say that it's weird that certain people didn't get a call, it's like, do you even entertain certain ideas when you already hear that they're front runners? And we all know, like, historically, the Cowboys, or should we say the Cowboy, Jerry knows what he wants, and he knows the idea and a ballpark of it. So it's like, do you even entertain that just so for entertainment purposes or for the fans, or do was there any smoke there?
I guess the confusion for me is like perception not meeting reality from the way that the season ended and what the team felt like they needed. You need a guy to come in here that can change the culture overall, because the Cowboys seem to be dysfunctional within the cultural part of their football team. When you look around the NFL, you start talking about other teams that may not even be on the same page as the Dallas Cowboys. They have a culture fit. What is that here? What is that?
And that was the main
culture, identity, whichever one. And I'm just pointing that out all around. And I think that a head coach, bringing in a head coach that could give you that, and it seemed like, for me, adding context to what you were saying about Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy's offense last year, 4,500 yards for Dak Prescott, 1,000 yards for Tony Pollard, 1,700 yards for CeeDee Lamb. You're clicking.
Yeah, 14 TD or 17 TDs.
You're clicking as an offense. You have Dan Quinn as your defensive coordinator. Defense is putting up crazy numbers. And then in those moments, as you're talking about, when you need it the most, and that's where you've kind of stuck a pin and you've stayed right there, even with Mike McCarthy, those slow starts. You get into a situation versus a Green Bay team where you get shredded defensively, and your offense didn't give you much to respond. And I don't want to be revisionist on this, but I'm saying that's just a part of what it is. When I say you didn't call those guys, you're not calling guys that could potentially be trendsetters in the NFL. You see Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Okay, there are these young coaches that are out there that you're seeing these guys have success. It looked like to me you had a couple of those guys on the table that you
Yeah.
You
didn't even ring because, like you said, you let Dan. You can't help but ask yourself, like, as a fan, okay, should we done this a year earlier? And we look at the success that Dan Quinn is having right now. Well, maybe. As I love to play devil advocate in the room because I just love for argument purposes. Yeah. But let's just say maybe he actually learned from his mistakes and said, hey, this is a younger guy that hasn't had that opportunity yet that we're not going to let leave. Because just like you said, you had an all-pro year with the numbers that you put up with those same players a year prior. Like, you're one player away. So it's like, instead of ripping it all up, that's where it's like, hey, does he learn from that? And as a good coach said, hey, I'm going to improve on what's already here. And then two, I guess it's a double-headed sword. Do you handcuff him? Because the one thing that we seen before Mike left, when he was talking to Zimmerman and everything, the mistake that was made was that he tried to make his system fit somebody else's system that was already there prior because of the success. So with that statement, if this guy is going to be the coach, like, will you learn from that statement and the breadcrumbs that are out there? But also, is this Jerry learning from his mistake to saying that we have talent in-house right now that can develop it? So you got to ask the question. This is a very interesting pick. It came far left, but there's so many nuances that we don't know about.
And this front office, I know we got to go to break, but in the front office, they've got to learn from their mistakes as well. You got to give the gardener his tools to go out there and succeed. Look at the talent gap between the Eagles and the Cowboys, between Washington and the Cowboys. I mean, the talent gap is huge, and we saw it on display this entire season. So to me, you've got to be able to go out there and bring players in, not only in the draft, but in free agency as well, that can help with that culture shift. But not only that, but can help you on the football field. Like we saw it when guys went down this season, the depth just wasn't there. Yes. And like when Diggs goes down, Bland comes back, we got Lewis. The other cornerback, Booth is getting destroyed out there. Yeah. And then just keep it a bean. He's getting destroyed out there. You go through this running back carousel, and with all due respect to Daddle, there was no explosiveness out there. No. So this team has got to get better, on the football field, talent-wise, culture-wise, and hopefully whoever they bring in to be the head coach, he can get his tools, he can fix the culture. And I'm not saying it's all going to happen in 1 year like that. Like what Dan Quinn was able to do in Washington, outstanding. That's amazing. I'm not going to say it's going to happen that quickly, but you got to do something to improve this team overall.
He did it with a less talented team, just throwing it out there. But
he did.
Go to break.
He did, absolutely. And but before we go to break, the question that I'm going to pose to you guys is, whichever coach that you bring in here, should he be a Dak-friendly coach or Parsons-friendly coach? Ooh. Y'all stew on that for a second. This is the Players Lounge. We're keeping it real. We'll be right back after this.
Tough questions.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Dallas Cowboys Game Day is brought to you by Captain Morgan, the official spiced rum of the NFL. The NFL season is full of legendary tales on and off the field. And when you follow the captain within you, stories become stuff of legends. So gather your crew and visit followthecaptain.com to begin your adventure. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1. Any broadcast without the express addition of cooked-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12. No crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane's sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31. Anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
to the Players Lounge.
Come on out to AT&T Stadium on February 22nd for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship Series. Watch the world's best two-wheel racers coverage for one night of nonstop action. Enjoy unprecedented access to the sport's biggest stars with an up-close view of their race bikes and the team rigs at FanFest. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. You're back on the Players Lounge, sponsored by Aristocrat.
Yes, indeed.
Heckman Harrison, DeMontre Moore,
Yes,
Barry Church up
indeedy.
in here. Newy Scruggs took the day off, but he will be back next Thursday and definitely on Wednesday.
Oh, you ain't gonna miss that win.
Nah,
He ain't
gonna miss it. He ain't gonna miss it. I was asking before the break, guys, about the coach that you bring in, just mentality-wise. Do you bring in your coach thinking about your quarterback that you've put a ton of money into, or your young defensive end who's a superstar in this league that's going to be around for a while, that you're about to make the highest paid defensive player in the league? No,
That's bad.
non-quarterback.
Non-quarterback, yeah.
He's about to get broke off. So let's just talk about the mentality of where you're going. We're just looking into the future here, and which would be better? Hire a coach that's Dak-friendly or Parsons-friendly?
If you're talking to me, the guy who has the ball in his hands the majority of the game, and to me, that's the quarterback. As great as Parsons is, which he is outstanding, as great as he is, and how much he can affect the game defensively, offenses pretty much run the league now. And you got to have a guy under center that can go out there and produce and get the most out of your offense and put up points. Because at the end of the day, that's how you win games. You put up more points than the other team. And to me, Dak Prescott, you got to have a guy in here that speaks the same language, that can get the most out of him. When he went for that, MVP, second in MVP voting, whatever the case may be, a couple years ago, him and Mike McCarthy was like this. Right. You had a coach that they were talking the same language, and they were able to go out there, put up points, win games. They did, have a lay an egg in the playoffs. We all saw that. But in order to get to the playoffs, you got to have success in the regular season. And that's exactly what he was able to do. So to me, you got to have a coach that can go in here, speak the same languages, that can get the most out of this offense. Defensively, you can go out there, get turnovers, take the ball away. But in order to win football games in this league, in my opinion, you got to be able to put up points. So you got to have a coach that can go ahead and speak the same language as your quarterback.
Man, my sentiments exactly. Your quarterbacks, what they say, it's very hard to find a good quarterback. And then once you find a good quarterback, you can still have a good quarterback. But if he's not properly motivated and he's just not on the same page with your head coaches, it can make it a bad situation. Look at what you call them, you Call of Duty, bro.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty.
If your dog isn't motivated and ready to hunt, then it's not the time to go out there. And so, with that being said, when you go to defense, I feel like it's a little bit easier. No slack to Michael Parsons. He is a generational talent. He can single-handedly change the game. But like you said, offense, it's points. Like I know they say defense wins championships, but as a defensive player, you kind of are taught to be selfless, because when you're sitting over there, you're saying, hey, man, I need whatever for my offense to be in the right position, so that way I know I can go out there and hunt. Because if I'm Michael Parsons, I'm going to say, hey, I want Dak to be in a good spot so he can put up the right numbers. And if he put up the right numbers and we get out ahead, guess what? That means it's time to go get sacks. And we all know that sacks get the rack. So if the offense is doing good, he's going to feel a lot better about himself as a defensive coach. So I think he will be selfless like that. So I think you need to attack a Dak-friendly coach.
You guys this is really shocking to me, because if I was betting man, I would have bet that y'all would have said something completely different. Right? So y'all went a whole nother way. So I'm shocked
because,
right now.
And I'm going to say it like this, and I'm going to put some stank on it. I feel like as a defensive player, we're the less prima donnas. Like we're ready to go and we're ready to hunt. So, and typically everything revolves around the quarterback all the way since you were little. Like, you don't see nobody sitting over there saying put a green shirt on the middle linebacker or the pass rusher and stuff like that. So, like, we're used to people catering for them. So that's why I don't think it would be that much of an issue for him. And if you had to ask both of them, they're going to say the same thing. Like, let me get in my position because everything starts with me.
So, okay, so we all watch a ton of football, and if you look at the teams right now, even let's go to Kansas City, who is about to dip their foot into immortality if they win 3 in a row.
It's crazy,
but man, nobody is talking about the defense. My man, the defense is what's winning them these games.
So crazy.
I mean, even when Patrick Mahomes makes mistakes, because he does, and they don't play those highlights, right?
No.
But when that defense comes back out on the field, they shut everything down. Now, I'm just saying, if you have a generational talent in Micah Parsons, and you can scheme up for him, and you put guys around him like the Deron Blands and the Overshones and the different players, you have an opportunity to put together one of those kinds of defenses that can shut guys down, shut down, and you're going to have to do that anyway in the NFC East because of what you have in Washington. Wouldn't it be better? I mean, just think about it from a defensive standpoint. If you hire a guy that can come in here, speaks Micah Parsons' language, and can facilitate that, and then you shift your focus to an offensive coordinator.
Okay, and I get it because when I went the furthest as far as team success, we went to the AFC Championship. We were led by defense. Jacksonville, we had an unreal defense that year, unbelievable. But when we went up against a guy in Tom Brady, who was a quarterback. No matter how great we played in that game, New England always had a chance to win that game because they had that guy behind the center. So to me, yes, you have one generational talent in Micah Parsons. But to me, he can get you a game here and there. He can just, put the team on his back, let me get you a game here or there. But if you got that guy at quarterback who's special, man, he can get you all the way. Yeah. He can get you, 4 straight games, which we're talking about in the playoffs, which you got to get if you're a wild card team. So, to me, that generational talent, he's unbelievable. But to me, I got to have somebody under that center that can get the job done at a quarterback position and a coach that can coach with him.
And I'm going to say it in this stint. You were building your momentum. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I will say I would be remiss if I didn't remind you of a guy named Aaron Donald, who is arguably the best defensive player ever to play this game. And they could not get over that hump until
couldn't even get to the playoffs without Stafford.
Couldn't even get to the playoffs without Stafford. And then that defense couldn't take that evolution.
He went to the Super Bowl with Goff.
I mean,
that is facts.
Okay,
that is facts.
But I'm gonna tell you, but before that, what did it take? It took not only Aaron Donald, who is arguably the best defensive player, it took arguably one of the best corners to play in our generation, and Rams getting there. Then you had Von Miller getting there, so he still needed help.
And then you needed McVay.
You needed McVay.
Yeah.
So and then but McVay, how rare. And even when they had McVay, they didn't do it until they added those key pieces. When you were at Jacksonville and y'all had the defense that y'all had some guys that are gonna be like the guy. And defensive wise, it couldn't get you over the hump. You need that QB, so that's why I say that.
Barry, you're a nice guy. I love it, man. I love that about you, and I just don't understand why you just want to say I was supposed to play in a Super Bowl, but my quarterback was a bum. Okay, all right, my quarterback was bad. Okay, if we just keep it in one up, come on. Tom Brady. What was the final score of that AFC game?
Was it 20-14 or 20-15?
Come on, they scored 20. Come on, they scored 20 points, bro.
It was
listen to what I'm saying. They played field position and ball control on y'all. And when y'all had that final possession where you needed to get a score, you had a quarterback that could not get it done. The defense did their job. Y'all held Tom Brady to come on, man.
But if we had that quarterback, if we had the quarterback,
I get it. That's all
that was. So all you was missing was the quarterback.
That's it.
Oh,
that was it. That's all we was missing.
That's it. This man would have played in the Super Bowl.
That was the only piece, man.
If it was a fifth.
We be drunk.
Yeah, that's
but we ain't drunk.
Ain't drunk.
That is
it didn't happen.
it didn't happen. So you learn from your mistakes.
So
We had a cue.
Okay.
Then we paid the man the next. Oh,
Don't
even get me started, man. Don't even
Hey,
get me
give him
started.
the bag. He got us there. And they said he just needed a little incentive. It just didn't go the way that you thought it was.
20 to 14. 20 to 14. That was the margin for between going to a Super Bowl, winning an AFC championship.
And it was the last drive.
Come on, and the
2-minute drive he scored.
listen to me. That's all, and that's where I'm at with it. And I look at this team, and I look at where you are, the youth that you have on that side of the ball. You have some guys to build around. You have a piece to build around. I think even with the injuries of Dak of late over the last couple of years, I know how important it is. Even when I talk about Kansas City and their defense, I can look at Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, my
and
bad.
say
24 to 20.
24 to 20.
Oh,
Lord.
We was up 20 to 17.
Come on, dog.
2 minutes and this man scored on us.
You blanked out. You blanked out at 14.
And we still had time. Still had time.
So,
God.
That boy got PTSD.
I tell you, look, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, man. I'm gonna let my man take it.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back.
I didn't mean to bring up old stuff. This is the Players Lounge. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back.
God damn.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Danny McCray here for Smoothie King. You know every great workout deserves a great reward. So treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls. Made with real fruit, crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, creamy coconut, and topped with the chocolate hazelnut or honey drizzle. With 2 new flavors, it's perfect for you and the workout buddy. So you both can stay on track even after you leave the track. Scoop up new coconut smoothie bowls only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Back to the Players Lounge.
The biggest names in tennis head to the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco this February. Witness top-ranked Casper Ruud and former Dallas Open champion, American Tommy Paul. Dazzle the court as the Dallas Open moves to a new home. Catch all the hard-hitting action and watch the top players on tour compete live. Tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com. Man, it's been Players Lounge. We've been doing our thing.
Wow.
You gotta call a spade, man.
Hey, that boy said this to him.
He said he got the Houdini.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Hey, look.
Let me find out. Yeah, come here with the 360s, man.
No, here's the thing.
The Steve Harvey collection.
You gotta have a running back.
You like 7 dreads? Or?
You gotta have a running back in this league to go with all this stuff we talking about. You got to have a running back, and so look on that with that purposing that about running back. But switch back over to defense. I'm asking you guys if you happen to go Schottenheimer, who would be your selection as defensive coordinator here? If that is the potential hire, we're just assuming it, so we don't have anything concrete. We don't know who would be your defense.
Concrete, but I'm gonna pop it off now. I'm gonna flex my chest. I got 2 of them.
Okay, 2.
I got 2 because we all know that Jerry likes to keep in-house talent, and we just talked about letting people go. My first choice, I would say Al Harris.
Okay.
Al Harris has done an amazing job with this secondary, and then just he's been through multiple DCs. You got to learn from Mike, even though his tenure here wasn't what it was supposed to be, but you still can't deny him of his defensive paralysis and knowing what he's done and being around the game.
Gotcha.
You got to learn from him. You got to learn from Dan Quinn that's up there doing what he's doing. And we've seen the success that he's having at Washington. And then on top of that, learning from Dan Quinn, you get to pull off of that Pete Carroll tree, learning from him. Al, it's his time. Like you would have thought, I was talking to people earlier. They were saying they don't think that our DC that you had last year was the right pick. Some thought that Al should have got the shot last year. Yeah. Well, now you don't let it miss you twice. Like if that girl from high school that finally gives you a chance and it's right there in your face, you have to jump on it. So I think Al is a good guy. And if you want to bring somebody from the outside, because I just read that Saleh did not get the head coaching job with the Jags. They're still going to be interviewing more people. I would say you bring in Robert Saleh. Now, do I think San Fran is going to let him go somewhere if he doesn't get that position? No, but I think he would be a great guy to pair him up with Micah Parsons in that defense, because defensive players, at the end of the day, everybody has a scheme, but it's about how can you motivate those guys and then bring that high energy from Robert Saleh in here, motivate Micah Parsons and everybody else and get them boys thumping again. You might have the mixing to have that cohesiveness with a young, fresh new head coach, a proven defensive coordinator that's taken his team to the Super Bowl already, has head coaching experience. They can learn from each other. I think that would be a great pick. But to have two fresh new coaches, that's the only thing that scares me about having like we said, a brand new coach if you have him coming in and then having Al Harris coming in being the DC. But those are my two options.
Let me just say this. I like the Robert Saleh because of his head coaching pedigree, and I think that's something that would play well with Brian Schottenheimer, just bouncing ideas off of a guy like that that's been there, done that. You can match up, especially with whatever your offensive scheme is. Yes, but who would be your guy?
So, I'd like to double down. I just flip it a little bit because I would love, for Harris to get an opportunity. Put in the work. You saw what he's done with this secondary. I mean, Diggs had his best years, under Al Harris. You got Bland, who was a 5th-round pick, turned him into, an all-pro, one of the best defensive players out there. Yeah. So I would love for him to get that opportunity. But for me, I'm going to slide with Saleh on this one because I love what he was able to do when he was just in head of the defense. Like when he was in San Francisco, he didn't have to worry about offense, special teams, making sure the team is all together, curfews, this, that, and the third. He just had to focus on defense. And that San Francisco run that he had some of the best defenses out there. They had hella talent. You had, all those guys, linebacker Fred Warner, all those guys. But he was able to get the most out of all of those guys. Man. And I love what you talked about, being a former head coach. You can bounce off ideas with Schottenheimer. But we saw what Dan Quinn, a former head coach, was able to do when he came in here as a DC. Yeah. He had that just culture shifting, guys wanting to run through a brick wall for this guy. Yeah. This defense was playing like their hair was on fire, getting turnovers, going after the quarterback when Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator here. So to me, I think Saleh can bring that same type of energy, that same type of guy that cats are gonna be like, I want to play for him. Defense, we're gonna do our job. Offense, y'all got it over there, but we're gonna do our job on the defensive side of football. And I think Saleh will bring that to this organization. I love the Harris one as well because I think it's his time as well. He put the work in. Yeah. He knows these players. They know him.
Knows the roster.
He knows the roster, knows the strengths and weaknesses of everybody in his secondary and everybody on his defense. So I would love for him to get a chance as well. But for my first pick, I would go with Saleh on that one.
I mean, and like I said, if you did somebody in the house, it would be Al. But me personally, I would like you to bring Saleh in and then keep Al on the staff. But obviously, he might have opportunities elsewhere because of the talent he has. So it's like, do you let him go or do you bring somebody else in there? And then secondly, don't you ever disrespect me because I was there with Robert Saleh. He had guys on that line. You had DeForest Buckner and stuff that. Oh, yeah. But you got the most out of guys like me, Ronald Blair, like guys coming off the bench that were able to build their names and revive their career, get paid other places, Sheldon Day, all these guys. And I've personally seen him maximize his opportunity. And for you telling me that Dan Quinn can go down there, because if you would have read at the beginning of the season the roster list from the Cowboys and the Commanders, you would have said, oh, by far, let me get this Cowboys roster. And so for a guy like him to come in with the talent that he has, everybody being healthy and no injuries out there, it can be scary. It can be really scary. So like I said, I think those two will be the best pick.
I think, Robert Saleh, hands down to me, is the guy that when you think about a defensive coordinator, a guy that's been there, done that, had the pieces. He knows he's a builder, championship builder. I mean, he's had those Bosa. He's had guys like that play the position. He knows how to move the pieces around. He's very multiple in what he does, and that's what I like about him. I love that. Even though I don't love San Francisco, I got to identify with what they did and the success that they had with the pieces that they had. But obviously, it takes talent to play that.
Yes,
100%.
It takes talent. When you say a DeForest Buckner, when you start talking about the pieces that he had, he had some grown
Greenlaw.
You did, but you had. Hold on. He had Greenlaw, but you had a young Greenlaw that wasn't doing it like that. You had an Al Shazier who became the guy. Like, Al Shazier was on our practice squad. And when I say that, yes, he did have some dogs, just like you have some dogs on this defense, but he had a lot of pieces, and he was able to maximize that back piece. He was able to talk to people in the middle of the meeting room and say, hey, Buck, you're going to do what you're going to do. Eric Armstead, you're going to do what you're going to do. But Ronnie Blair, hey, do what you do on special teams. And when you get over here, I know you're going to do what you do. And so that back end of the roster was able to sit there and say, hey, I know my chance is coming, because he's a straight shooter. He's going to tell you what it is. He's going to motivate you and get you hype. And he's one of those guys that you want to run through a brick wall. So, like you said, if you pair him up being a former head coach, I think they will be able to bounce ideas off of each other and learn from each other through that experience. And on top of that, you can't buy Super Bowl experience. Like, that goes without being said. So, like I said, it's just about, do you want the proven hot name right now, or do you want somebody that's in-house that potentially might be that guy if you let him walk away? You don't want to have another Dan Quinn situation.
Real quick, are we sure this Cowboys defense is like that? Like, are we sure?
What do you mean?
Like, we talk about how much, talent, this, that, and the third.
No, they're not.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like,
whoa. Let's back up.
We're not saying they're. We're not saying they're the Legion of Boom.
Like, I'm like,
no,
we got Parsons.
You got Parsons.
Bland, but
that's what I just said. You need the pieces. That's why
you need.
That's saying names.
But you had guys that got stuff under their resume. You got Diggs that led the league in picks one year. You got
Deron Bland.
And then on top of that, you got Parsons. What else do you really need from there? Now you just got to go get role players. Everybody can't be the superstar. If we had too many superstars, then what everybody going to be doing in basketball? Oh, it's my shot. It's my shot. Nah. Let that guy go be the guy and go get you a Carl Lawson that's going to play on the back end. And, hey, when Parson needs to take his break, you got a young pup that's coming off doing that. You have to – everybody can't be LeBron. You gotta get your Mo Williams. You gotta get your Zalskis.
But in theory, what you have to have is some dogs. And we need, whether you call them guys, we need more dogs.
But I gotta make a dog.
And let me ask you, before we get up out of here, I want to go with you guys' AFC, NFC champions. We got the NFC East championship going on.
NFC invitation. Wow. I wish New.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody was here. Everybody can't show up to the party.
You gotta give me a pick, Montre. Who you got?
Man,
who's going to the Super Bowl?
Hey, y'all can call it bias all y'all want to, but I'm going to go with my Aggie brother over there, Cliff Kingsbury, and that young phenom, man. Hey, what are they doing? When you got it, you got it. Like, when you're just winning, and that defense, like you said, Dan Quinn, he's been a part of those teams that have been to the big dance. You have the Super Bowl experience in Bobby Wagner, who's going to sit there and police those guys and help them bring it in. And then you got a young guy that just got the hot hand, and when you're winning, you're winning. And so I think that they're going to be able to expose the Eagles when they play them.
Commanders is one. So who you got in the AFC?
Man, hey,
come on, do it.
Hey, man,
don't do it.
What are you doing?
Don't do it, dog.
That's a third. What's going on?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Bills Mafia.
Oh, this man went with the dust.
Hey, what he said? What he said? I gotta go for an upset, man.
You got the Bills and the Commanders in the Super Bowl.
I got the Bills and Commanders in the Super Bowl. You heard it here first.
All right.
Wow.
Steve Spags. Shout out to my guy.
For the NFC East Invitational, this is gonna be a good game.
It is.
I mean, that dude Jaden Daniels is electric. Quinn got these guys playing out of their whatever. I mean, he got them boys rolling. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one. They at their house. They are a more talented roster, even though Washington has, the momentum. They're the hot squad right now. Philly, if Hurts can stay healthy, because he limping a little bit.
I was about to say, you got a gimpy quarterback out there right now.
If he can stay healthy, I believe the Eagles is going to win this game.
Okay, so you got the Eagles?
I got the Eagles.
You got the Eagles?
That's crazy.
And then on the AFC side, man, I'm never going. I mean, Kansas City. I'm tired. I can't bet against.
Man, you got to bet against him, man.
Nah, I don't want him to win.
I don't want
it's like, damn, he can't.
It's good money.
I don't want him to win. Hey,
you guys know that I absolutely hate the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay,
here we go.
And we're going to find out because I want Newey to be on the show because we got to get the roundup for the regular season, how we went with our picks. I just kind of feel like, I mean.
You're going to bring that Madoff book out.
Yeah, I want the book of integrity in front of me.
You're going to bring it out.
The book is gone. There's a reason why he was.
Hey, here's the deal.
Books
but just adding logic to it for the reasons that you just said, I think Jalen Hurts is hobbled. I think he's been playing bad football before he even got hobbled. And that has been a problem. It has been the Saquon Barkley show. And if it comes down to it, I think Dan Quinn's Achilles heel has been the run. You know that for sure.
You've been running on him. They can run on him.
You're going another way. I didn't think you were going.
No.
You see what Gibbs did?
Yeah, I did. But ain't no way in hell I'm going to pick the Eagles.
Okay, you got it back.
Ain't no way in hell. Because I would be nauseous. I wouldn't even watch the Super Bowl. They went to
That's wild.
So I'm going with the Commanders.
I bet he'll watch it.
And then on the other side, I'm absolutely going with Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes getting all the calls. It's you know what I mean? Come on, man. He flinching.
Exactly.
I've never seen you not be able to hit. So
brother. We playing
It's a different day.
7-on-7.
It's a different day.
With so much scrutiny on him, I think that those calls, he's going to get some of those, but they can't just be that obvious right now. Hey, man,
well, look,
see what happens.
I
can't believe you picked the Eagles. The way that they were exposed last game, if the Rams were fully healthy, bro, you know they were supposed to win that game.
Look,
y'all seen what it was.
At the house.
brother.
Hold up, because of them?
Y'all seen what it was.
The Players Lounge.
1 and 5 on the ground, baby.
We did it. Newey Scruggs will be back next week, next Thursday at 10 o'clock. We'll be here. I appreciate y'all for joining us. My man DeMontre Moore, Barry Church, I'm Heckman Harrison. We are outro. Hey.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!